The night shift at Earth Defense Command was usually quiet. Most of the staff spent their time monitoring routine satellite data and space debris tracking. But tonight was different. At exactly 2:47 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time, every sensor in the solar system lit up like a Christmas tree. Admiral James Miller had just taken his first sip of coffee when the alarms started blaring. The hot liquid spilled onto his crisp blue uniform as he rushed to the main control room. The sight that greeted him on the massive wall of screens made him forget about the coffee stain completely. "Report," he ordered, his voice steady despite the chaos unfolding around him. "Sir, we have multiple contacts appearing beyond Neptune's orbit," responded Lieutenant Tom Brown, his fingers flying across the holographic display. "The numbers, they're still increasing. We're counting over 3,000 vessels now, and more keep appearing." Miller's face remained calm, but his mind raced. Humanity had prepared for this moment for decades, but the reality of it still sent chills down his spine. "Get me a visual," he commanded. The main screen shifted to show a real-time feed from one of Earth's cloaked observation posts near Pluto. The ships were massive. The smallest ones were the size of small cities, while the largest could probably house millions. Their dark metal hulls seemed to absorb the distant sunlight, making them look like holes in space itself. "Send the alert to all global defense facilities," Miller ordered, "but keep civilian channels clear for now. No need to cause panic until we know their intentions." The truth was, they already had a good idea about those intentions. No peaceful species arrives with a fleet of that size. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, the hidden Global Defense Facility hummed to life. Similar facilities under the Himalayas, the Australian outback, and the Sahara Desert activated their systems. Humanity had spent the last 50 years preparing in secret, building defenses that would make any alien invader think twice. "Sir, they're forming into attack positions," reported Captain Lisa Reed from her station. "Classic conquest formation, just like our simulations predicted." Miller nodded. The aliens were following the exact playbook they had expected. Decades of intercepting distant communications and studying alien warfare patterns were paying off. Earth knew more about the galaxy than the galaxy knew about Earth. "How long until they reach broadcast range?" Miller asked. "At their current speed, about 6 hours, sir," Reed answered. "They're moving cautiously, probably expecting to catch us completely unaware." Miller allowed himself a small smile. The Empire had conquered hundreds of worlds using the same strategy. Appear suddenly with overwhelming force, demand surrender, and crush any resistance before it could organize. But Earth was different. Earth had known they were coming. "Wake up the President and the Joint Chiefs," Miller ordered, "and get me Dr. Thompson from Research Division. It's time to power up the Quantum Shield Network." As the command center buzzed with activity, Miller walked to the window overlooking the underground hangar. Below, rows of advanced fighters sat ready, machines built with technology that officially shouldn't exist for another century. Humanity had reverse-engineered every piece of alien tech they could find, from crashed scouts to intercepted transmissions. "Admiral," called Brown from his station, "we're detecting energy buildup in their communication arrays. They're preparing to broadcast." "Let them," Miller replied. "Record everything, but don't respond yet. Let's see what demands they make this time." The Empire's arrival was just the beginning. They expected to find a primitive world, easy prey for their expansion. Instead, they had stumbled upon humanity's carefully laid trap. Earth had spent generations preparing for this moment, building defenses that would make the Empire regret their choice of targets. As Miller watched his crew work, he thought about all the sacrifices that had led to this moment. The secret programs, the hidden budgets, the thousands of people who had worked in silence to prepare Earth for this day. Now it would all be put to the test. The first shots hadn't been fired yet, but the battle had already begun. And humanity was ready. Commander Diana West stood at her station in the communications center, her eyes fixed on the incoming transmission. After years of studying alien languages and decoding their messages, this was the moment she had trained for. The Empire's signal was strong and clear, broadcasting on all frequencies just as they had predicted. "They're not even trying to be subtle," she muttered, watching the data stream across her screen. The message was being broadcast in over 50 alien languages, none of them human. The Empire clearly assumed Earth wouldn't understand any of them. They were wrong. Translation complete, West announced to Admiral Miller, who stood behind her chair. "You'll want to hear this, sir." She pressed a button, and a deep, commanding voice filled the command center. "Attention, primitive world designated E3755. This is High Commander Marcus of the Galactic Imperial Fleet. Your world has been chosen to join our glorious empire. You have 24 Earth hours to surrender control of your planetary government and military assets. Resistance will result in immediate planetary bombardment. This is a generous offer. Choose wisely." Miller's face remained neutral, but there was a hint of amusement in his eyes. "They're following the script perfectly," he said. "How many worlds have fallen to this exact same message, Commander?" "Based on our intelligence, 312 worlds, sir," West replied. "The Empire has been using the same conquest strategy for over a century. Show up, make demands, wait for panic to set in, then attack before the planet can organize a proper defense." The massive screens around them showed the Imperial fleet continuing to move into position. Their ships were arranging themselves in a sphere around Earth, ready to launch attacks from all directions. It was an impressive sight, one that would have terrified humanity just a few decades ago. Deep in the Global Defense Facility, the Joint Chiefs of Staff gathered around a holographic display of the solar system. President Adams joined them via secure quantum link from his underground bunker. The room was calm, almost relaxed, despite the crisis unfolding above. "Their scans still haven't detected our defense network," reported Dr. Thompson, pointing to the hidden installations scattered throughout the solar system. "The quantum camouflage is working perfectly. They think they're dealing with a pre-space flight civilization." "How long can we maintain the deception?" asked General Russell, studying the hologram. "As long as we need to," Thompson replied with confidence. "They're using standard Imperial scanning technology. We've been hiding from much better sensors for years." President Adams leaned forward in his chair, his image flickering slightly in the hologram. "What's your assessment, Admiral Miller? Do we show our hand now, or wait for them to make the first move?" Miller considered the question carefully. 300 worlds had fallen to the Empire's tactics. 300 civilizations had either surrendered in fear or been destroyed trying to fight back with insufficient preparation. But Earth had done what none of them had managed. They had prepared in secret, waiting for this very day. "I recommend we give them one chance to leave," Miller said finally. "A single warning. When they ignore it, and they will ignore it, we can demonstrate exactly why that was a mistake." The President nodded. "Agreed. Commander West, prepare a response. Keep it simple. Let's see how the mighty Empire handles being told no for once." West turned back to her console, hiding a smile. The Empire's message had been grand and threatening, filled with promises of destruction. Earth's reply would be much shorter. As they worked, the Imperial ships continued their deployment. Their weapon systems powered up in a deliberate show of force, energy readings spiking across Earth's sensor network. They were putting on a show, trying to intimidate a planet they believed was seeing starships for the first time. "Message ready, sir," West announced after a few minutes. Miller looked around the room at his crew. These men and women had trained their entire lives for this moment. They had carried the secret of Earth's true technological level, knowing that someday someone like the Empire would come calling. That day had finally arrived. "Send it," Miller ordered. Earth's response to the Empire's grand ultimatum was just 4 words long. 4 words that would change the course of galactic history forever. Dr. Robert Thompson stood in the center of Facility Zero, Earth's most secret military installation, buried deep beneath the Antarctic ice. Around him, massive quantum computers hummed to life, their crystalline cores glowing with soft blue light. The time for hiding was over. "Begin activation sequence," he ordered, his voice echoing in the vast chamber. "Power up all systems." Across the solar system, humanity's hidden defenses stirred from their long sleep. On Mars, massive hangar doors opened in the side of Olympus Mons, revealing rows of automated defense platforms. Within Europa's icy ocean, underwater factories began producing swarms of self-repairing combat drones. Even distant Pluto hosted its share of surprises, with weapon systems emerging from its permanently shadowed craters. Back in the Global Defense Facility, Admiral Miller watched the activation process on the main screen. "Status report," he called out. "Quantum shields at full power, sir," reported Captain Reed. "The Empire's scans are still bouncing off our stealth systems. They have no idea what's happening right under their noses." Miller nodded, remembering the decades of work that had led to this moment. While the world went about its daily life, believing space was still a distant frontier, millions of people had worked in secret to prepare Earth's defenses. Every UFO sighting explained away, every mysterious light in the sky covered up, all to hide the truth until humanity was ready. "Dr. Thompson," Miller called over the secure channel. "Tell me something good." Thompson's hologram appeared in the command center, his expression confident. "The quantum shield network is performing better than we hoped, Admiral. We've learned a lot from studying the Empire's previous attacks. Their weapons won't even scratch our defenses." The room fell silent as a new alert flashed across the screens. The Empire had received Earth's 4-word message: "Leave now. Only warning." "Their response?" Miller asked. Lieutenant Brown checked his readings. "They're laughing, sir. Literally laughing. Their communications channels are filled with jokes about our primitive defiance." "Perfect," Miller said quietly. "Let them laugh. Dr. Thompson, show me what we've got ready for our unwelcome visitors." Thompson's hands moved through the holographic display, bringing up images of Earth's hidden weapons. "First, we have the quantum shield network. It doesn't just stop their attacks. It absorbs the energy and adds it to our power grid. The harder they hit us, the stronger we get." He moved to the next display. "Then there's our Mars defense grid. We got enough firepower there to take out half their fleet in one shot. The factories on Europa can produce 10,000 autonomous fighter drones per hour. And that's just the beginning." President Adams joined the briefing through his secure link. "What about civilian casualties if they attack our cities?" "Not going to happen, Mr. President," Thompson assured him. "We've had quantum shields covering every major population center for the past 5 years. The Empire could throw their entire fleet at New York City and not break a window." Above them, the Imperial fleet continued its preparations for attack. Their ships moved into what they considered optimal firing positions, completely unaware that Earth's weapons had them targeted from a dozen different directions. "Time to their first attack?" Miller asked. "Based on their standard tactics, about 15 minutes, West replied. "They're powering up their main weapons. It's going to be quite a show. They'd want to demonstrate their superiority." Thompson smiled. "Should we show them ours first?" Miller shook his head. "No. Let them throw their first punch. Let them see exactly how useless it is. Then we'll give them one more chance to leave." "And if they don't take it?" President Adams asked. "Then we show them why picking a fight with Earth was the biggest mistake the Empire has ever made," Miller replied. "But we do it our way. No civilian casualties, no unnecessary destruction. We're better than them, and we're going to prove it." The minutes ticked by as humanity's defenders waited patiently. In orbit, on Mars, under the ice of Europa, and in bases throughout the solar system, weapons of unimaginable power stood ready. The Empire thought they were about to conquer another primitive world. Instead, they were about to learn a lesson they would never forget. Earth was done hiding. High Commander Marcus stood on the bridge of his flagship, The Imperial dominance, a smile playing across his face. 300 conquered worlds had taught him that this was his favorite part, the moment when a primitive civilization realized just how helpless they were against Imperial might. All ships in position, his weapons officer reported. The planet's pathetic satellites haven't even tried to move out of our way. Marcus nodded, studying the blue planet on his view screen. Such a pretty world. Soon it would join all the others under Imperial rule. Send the final warning, he ordered. Let them see what they're facing. Across Earth's surface, the sky lit up as thousands of Imperial ships activated their weapons. It was an impressive display of power, designed to terrify the population into submission. Red and purple energy danced between the massive vessels, creating a web of light visible even in daylight. In the Global Defense Facility, Admiral Miller watched the show with calm interest. "They're certainly theatrical," he commented. "Commander West, are you recording all this?" "Every second, sir," West replied. "Their energy signatures, weapon configurations, shield frequencies, everything. Though I doubt we'll see anything new. They haven't updated their technology in 50 years. Miller turned to Dr. Thompson's hologram. "Shields. Operating at full capacity," Thompson reported from his station in Antarctica. "The quantum field is stable. They could hit us with 10 times this force and not get through." The Imperial display reached its peak. Thousands of weapon ports opened across their fleet, each one capable of devastating a city. On the bridge of the Imperial dominance, Marcus gave the order he'd given hundreds of times before. Fire. The attack was spectacular. Streams of energy poured from the Imperial ships, painting the sky in deadly colors. Each blast could have leveled a mountain. Together, they had enough power to crack a planet's crust. It was overwhelming force, designed to shatter any resistance in seconds. The energy struck Earth's atmosphere and vanished. In the Global Defense Facility, red warning lights turned to green as the quantum shields absorbed the attack. Power levels actually rose as the shields converted the Imperial weapons' energy into usable power. "Impact report?" Miller asked, though he already knew the answer. "No damage, sir," Captain Reed reported, unable to keep a small note of pride from her voice. "Shields didn't even flicker. We're actually getting enough power from their attack to run the whole defense network for a month." On the Imperial dominance, confusion turned to disbelief. Marcus stared at his sensors, trying to understand what he was seeing. "Where did the energy go?" he demanded. "Show me the damage." "Sir," his science officer's voice shook slightly. "There is no damage, no impact craters, no atmospheric disruption. The energy just disappeared." "Impossible," Marcus snarled. "Increase power. All ships, maximum output." The second wave of attacks was even more intense than the first. The Imperial ships poured out enough firepower to glass a continent. The result was exactly the same. The energy simply vanished upon reaching Earth's atmosphere. In Antarctica, Dr. Thompson watched his power readings spike. "They're actually helping us," he told Miller over the secure channel. "At this rate, we'll have enough stored energy to power our cities for a year." Miller nodded. "I think it's time to send them another message. The same one as before. Commander West." West's fingers moved across her console. Once again, Earth's response was simple. "Leave now. Only warning." The message was met with rage on the Imperial bridge. Marcus had never failed to break a planet's defenses with the first strike. His reputation, his position in the Empire, everything depended on victory here. "Launch the destroyers," he ordered. "I want boots on the ground. We'll tear their defenses apart from the surface." As the Imperial landing craft began to launch, Miller finally allowed himself a small smile. "I think they need a small demonstration, just to make our point clear. Dr. Thompson, power up Defense Platform 1. Just one." Thompson nodded. "Powering up Jupiter Station now, sir. Ready in 3 minutes." The Empire was about to learn that their mighty fleet had just picked a fight with the wrong planet. Hidden in the shadows of Jupiter, Defense Platform 1 looked like nothing more than a small asteroid. For decades, it had drifted there, invisible to all but the most advanced sensors. Now, as its ancient engines came to life, the rocky camouflage fell away piece by piece. Jupiter Station powered up and ready, Dr. Thompson reported from his Antarctic Command Center. Targeting systems online. Admiral Miller studied the tactical display, watching the Imperial landing craft pour from their motherships. Thousands of vessels, each carrying troops and tanks, headed toward Earth's atmosphere. They were about to have a very bad day. Select your target carefully, Miller ordered. We want to make a point, not start a massacre. Thompson nodded, his hands moving through the holographic controls. I recommend their primary troop carrier. It's in the middle of their formation, carrying about a third of their landing force. One shot. No casualties, just a clear message. Do it. The weapon that emerged from Defense Platform 1 looked almost delicate, a slim silver needle about the length of a small car. It didn't fire an energy beam or launch missiles. Instead, it released a single pulse of concentrated quantum energy. On the bridge of the Imperial Dominance, High Commander Marcus watched his invasion force with satisfaction. Even if the planet had some kind of energy shield, ground troops would soon tear apart whatever primitive technology was protecting them. Then the pulse hit. In an instant, every ship in the center of the invasion fleets simply stopped. Not destroyed, not damaged, just frozen in space. Nearly 1,000 vessels, including the massive troop carrier, hung motionless as statues. Report. Marcus screamed. What happened to those ships? His science officer stared at readings that made no sense. They're trapped in some kind of temporal stasis field, sir. Time has stopped for them. They're not dead, just paused. In the Global Defense Facility, Commander West intercepted the Imperial communications. They're panicking, sir, she reported with a small smile. The rest of the landing craft are trying to turn back. Miller nodded. Send the message one more time. Once again, 4 simple words flashed across every Imperial screen. Leave now. Only warning. This time, the message hit differently. The Empire's mighty fleet had just watched 1,000 ships get frozen in time by a weapon they couldn't even detect until it fired. A weapon fired from a single platform that their sensors still couldn't locate. Get me visuals on their bridge, Miller ordered. The main screen switched to a feed from one of Earth's cloaked satellites. High Commander Marcus stood in the center of his bridge, face pale, watching the frozen ships drift silently through space. His crew looked to him for orders, but for the first time in his career, he had no idea what to do. Should we power up another platform? Thompson asked over the secure channel. Miller considered this. No, let them think about what one platform did. Let them wonder how many more we have hidden out there. The Imperial fleet hung in space, weapons still hot, but no longer firing. In the silence, their sensors desperately searched for more hidden platforms, finding nothing but empty space and innocent-looking asteroids. Sir, Captain Reed called out, we're detecting power fluctuations in their fleet. Some ships are starting to pull back. Miller watched as the mighty Imperial fleet began to waver. Some ships held position. Others began to turn away. Their perfect formation, maintained across hundreds of conquests, started to break apart. What about the frozen ships? President Adams asked through his secure link. The stasis field will wear off in about 6 hours, Thompson explained. No damage to the ships or crews. They'll wake up to find the battle long over. On the Imperial Dominance, Marcus faced the hardest decision of his career. His fleet was the pride of the Empire, undefeated in 3 centuries of conquest. But they had never encountered anything like this. An enemy that could ignore their strongest weapons, then disable 1,000 ships with a single shot. And somewhere out there, hidden in the darkness of space, more platforms waited. How many? 10, 100. And what other weapons did this supposedly primitive planet have hidden away? The Empire had made a terrible mistake. They were about to learn just how terrible. High Commander Marcus paced on his bridge, each step heavy with the weight of his decision. Around him, his crew waited in tense silence. The mighty Imperial Dominance, flagship of the Empire's greatest fleet, had never retreated from battle. But they had never faced an enemy like this. "Sir," his tactical officer spoke quietly, "3 more ships have broken formation and jumped to hyperspace. The fleet is falling apart." Marcus stopped pacing and stared at the main screen. The frozen ships still hung in space, 1,000 vessels trapped in time by a single shot from a weapon his best scientists couldn't even understand. And somewhere out there, hidden around other planets and moons, more weapons waited. In the Global Defense Facility, Admiral Miller watched the Imperial fleet's disarray with satisfaction. "Status of our other platforms?" he asked. "All stations report ready," Dr. Thompson replied through the holographic link. "Mars defense grid is powered up. Europa's drone swarms are in position. Even the Titan base is online, though I doubt we'll need it." Commander West looked up from her console. "Sir, we're detecting massive energy readings from the Imperial flagship. I think they're preparing for something big." She was right. On the Imperial Dominance, Marcus had made his choice. "Prepare the planet killer," he ordered. "If we can't have this world, no one will." The planet killer was the Empire's ultimate weapon, a device capable of tearing a planet apart at its core. It had only been used twice in Imperial history, both times against worlds that had managed to resist conventional attacks. "Power readings are off the scale," Captain Reed reported, watching the energy build up on the Imperial flagship. "They're really going to try it." Miller nodded calmly. "Dr. Thompson, I think it's time for our final demonstration. Show them what happens when they threaten our home." Thompson smiled. "Activating the Mars defense grid, sir. This should be interesting." Across the red surface of Mars, hidden weapons emerged from the dust. Not just one platform this time, but hundreds. They powered up in perfect synchronization, their combined energy making the solar wind itself ripple. On the Imperial Dominance, Marcus watched his planet killer charge to full power. In 10 seconds, it would fire. In 20 seconds, Earth would begin to break apart. In 30 seconds, the ship shuddered violently. Warning alarms screamed across every deck. "What's happening?" Marcus demanded. "Our power. It's being drained." His engineer shouted. "Something is pulling the energy right out of our systems." The Mars defense grid glowed bright red, drawing in power from every Imperial ship like a massive magnet. Weapons, shields, engines, everything was being drained. Even the planet killer's fearsome energy dissolved into nothing. "Full power to engines," Marcus ordered. "Get us out of here." But it was too late. His mighty fleet hung powerless in space, every ship as helpless as the frozen ones they had tried to abandon. In the Antarctic facility, Dr. Thompson watched the power readings with professional interest. "We've drained their fleet to minimum life support levels," he reported. "They have enough power to breathe, stay warm, and send messages. Nothing more." Miller nodded. "Commander West, send them one final message. A longer one this time." West's fingers flew across her console, transmitting Earth's words to every powerless ship. "Your fleet is disabled. Your weapons are drained. We could destroy you all, but we choose not to. This is what mercy looks like. Remember it. You have 1 hour to signal your surrender and accept escort out of our solar system. This is your actual final warning." On the Imperial Dominance, Marcus slumped in his command chair. His fleet was beaten. Not just beaten, completely outclassed. They had come to conquer a primitive world and found something far more advanced than themselves. "Signal our surrender," he whispered. "Tell all ships, tell them to prepare for escort." As the surrender signals came in, President Adams addressed the Global Defense Council. "Make sure the galaxy understands what happened here. Earth doesn't seek conquest. We don't want revenge. We just want to be left alone." Miller smiled. "Oh, they'll understand, Mr. President. The Empire just learned that Earth is not to be trifled with. And soon, the whole galaxy will know." The sun rose over Earth, its light reflecting off thousands of powerless Imperial ships. Humanity had faced its first galactic test and passed with both power and restraint. The age of hiding was over. The age of humanity had begun. 1 month after the Empire's failed invasion, Admiral Miller stood at the window of the newly revealed Lunar Command Center, watching Earth rise over the moon's horizon. Below him, construction robots worked openly for the first time, building the first public spaceport humanity would share with the galaxy. "Quite a view, isn't it?" Dr. Thompson said, joining him at the window. "Hard to believe we don't have to hide anymore." "Latest report from our deep space monitors?" Miller asked, though he already knew the answer. News traveled fast in the galaxy, especially news this big. Thompson pulled up a holographic display. The Empire's officially declared Earth as sovereign power of exceptional strength. They've withdrawn their forces from this entire sector of space. He chuckled. Amazing what a little demonstration of quantum technology can do. Commander West entered the room, carrying fresh data from the communications network. "Sir, we're receiving messages from 17 different alien civilizations. They all want to establish diplomatic relations." "Any of them hostile?" Miller asked. "Just the opposite," West replied with a smile. "They're all former Imperial targets. Seems we've become something of a hero to the smaller worlds. The Empire's never been stopped like this before." Through the window, they watched as a small fleet of ships emerged from behind Earth. Not Imperial ships this time, but Earth's own vessels, finally revealed to the public. Sleek, silver craft powered by quantum drives, heading out to establish Earth's first official diplomatic missions to other worlds. In the Global Defense Facility, President Adams addressed the United Earth Council, representing every nation on the planet. The chamber, once the most secret room on Earth, was now broadcasting to every corner of the globe. "Today marks a new chapter in human history," Adams announced. "For 50 years, we worked in secret, preparing for this moment. We built our defenses, developed our technology, and when the test came, we proved ourselves worthy of our place among the stars." The chamber erupted in applause. On screens around the world, people celebrated in the streets. Humanity had not just survived its first contact with a hostile alien power, it had emerged victorious, and it had done so without losing its humanity. Back on the moon, Miller received a priority message. "Sir," Captain Reed's hologram appeared before him. "High Commander Marcus is requesting permission to visit Earth. He says he wants to apologize in person." Miller shared a look with Thompson and West. The same High Commander who had tried to destroy their planet now wanted to pay his respects. The galaxy was changing, and Earth had caused that change. "Permission granted," Miller replied. "But remind him, no weapons, no fleet escort, and his ship will be under our power dampeners the entire time." In the following weeks, Earth began sharing some of its less advanced technology with other worlds. Clean energy systems, medical breakthroughs, improved agriculture methods, but nothing that could be used as a weapon. The quantum shields and stasis fields remained Earth's closely guarded secrets. "You know," Thompson said, reviewing plans for the new International Space Academy, "I never thought I'd see the day when we could work in the open. No more hidden labs, no more secret launches. The hard part's just beginning," Miller reminded him. "Being strong is easy. Being wise with that strength, that's the real challenge." As if to emphasize his point, the long-range sensors detected a new ship approaching the solar system. Not an Imperial vessel this time, but a diplomatic craft from one of the free worlds. Its message was simple. "Thank you for showing us that the Empire can be resisted. We seek friendship with Earth." Humanity had passed its first great test. They had faced the galaxy's strongest power and won without firing a single lethal shot. Their victory had not come from last-minute luck or desperate measures, but from careful planning, advanced technology, and the wisdom to use power with restraint. As the sun set on another day, Earth's first public starship lifted off from the new spaceport, carrying human diplomats to meet their galactic neighbors. In the ship's wake, countless young people looked up at the stars with new understanding. They were no longer just distant lights. They were humanity's future. The time for hiding was over. The time for exploration had begun.